This morning can change everything, not because the world outside suddenly becomes perfect, not because every problem disappears in a single moment, and not because life stops asking things of you, but because you can begin this day in a different way. You can begin it with a softer heart. You can begin it with a calmer mind. You can begin it with a choice that is small, quiet, and deeply powerful. Before the noise of the day grows louder, before old habits try to take over, before worry starts telling its familiar stories, there is this one sacred moment, this breath, this opening. And in this opening, you are free to begin again. Too many people wake up and carry yesterday into today without even noticing. The body wakes, but the spirit still feels tired. The eyes open, but the heart still feels heavy. The mind begins at once, repeating the same thoughts, the same concerns, the same pressure. There is a rush to catch up, a rush to perform, a rush to think, a rush to fix. And before the day has truly begun, peace is already gone. Joy is already covered. Ease is already forgotten. But it does not have to be that way. Today does not need to begin with pressure. Today does not need to begin with fear. Today can begin with kindness. Right here, before anything else, there is a simple truth to remember. The first moments of the morning matter. They matter because they set the tone of your day. They matter because they shape the way you move through your hours. They matter because the thoughts you choose when the day begins become the energy you carry into everything that follows. If your first thoughts are full of worry, the day begins in struggle. If your first thoughts are full of lack, the day begins in tension. If your first thoughts are full of fear, the day begins in defense. But if your first thoughts are full of trust, the day begins in openness. If our first thoughts are full of peace, the day begins in calm. If your first thoughts are full of love, the day begins in light. There is great power in the first gentle thought. It may seem small. It may seem too simple. But life often changes through simple things. One peaceful thought can soften the body. One kind sentence can quiet the mind. One breath taken with awareness can interrupt fear before it grows stronger. One quiet choice can turn the whole direction of the day. This is why this morning matters. This is why this moment matters. Because you are not waking into a day that already owns you. You are waking into a day that can still be shaped by what you choose to believe. There may be days when you rise feeling strong. There may be days when peace comes easily. There may be days when joy seems close and natural. But there may also be mornings when your chest feels tight before you even move, when your mind is already full before your feet touch the floor, when you feel the weight of life waiting for you. On those mornings especially, you need gentleness, not force. You need compassion, not pressure. You need truth, not panic. You need to remember that your worth is not measured by how quickly you rush into the day. Your worth is not measured by how much you carry. Your worth is not measured by how much tension you can survive. Your worth is already here. And this day is still yours to enter with peace. Take a breath in your heart now, even if you are listening while doing other things, even if your mind is still busy, even if your body still feels tense. Let there be one slow, kind breath, not a forced breath, not a perfect breath, just a soft breath. Let that breath remind you that you are here, you are alive, you are beginning again. You are not trapped in the energy of yesterday. You are not trapped in the thought patterns of last week. You are not trapped in the fear that visited you in the night. Morning is an opening. Morning is a doorway. Morning is life saying, here is another chance. There is something beautiful about the beginning of a day. Even when the sky is gray, even when the air is cold, even when life feels uncertain, morning carries possibility. It carries movement. It carries a message that says the story is not finished. There is still room for healing. There is still room for peace. There is still room for joy. There is still room for a softer way. So many people think joy must wait until everything in life is solved. So many people think peace must wait until every problem is gone. So many people think ease must wait until all the hard work is done. But joy can begin before everything is fixed. Peace can begin before every answer is known. Ease can begin before the path is fully clear. They begin inside. They begin with a choice. They begin with the way you meet this morning. Let this day be different because you are different in it. Not because you became someone new overnight, but because you are willing to show up with a new spirit, a softer spirit, a more trusting spirit, a spirit that no longer believes that struggle must be the first language of the day. There is another language available to you. It is the language of quiet trust. It is the language of gentle hope. It is the language of deep inner safety. This language does not shout. It does not rush. It does not demand. It simply says, I am here, and I will begin this day with love. Maybe the world has taught you to wake up bracing for impact. Maybe life has taught you to expect pressure before peace. Maybe old pain has taught you to tighten before the day even starts. That is understandable. That is human. When you have gone through hard things, the body remembers. When you have been disappointed, the heart becomes careful. When you have carried stress for a long time, the mind learns to run before the danger is even real. But just because that pattern exists does not mean it has to lead today. You can notice it without obeying it. You can feel it without feeding it. You can hear the old voice and still choose a new one. The new voice does not need to be dramatic. it can be very simple. It can say, today is a new day. It can say, I am safe in this moment. It can say, life is meeting me here. It can say, I do not need to begin in fear. These are not just pleasant words. These are seeds. What you plant in the morning begins to grow through the day. If you plant bitterness, bitterness spreads. If you plant panic, panic multiplies. If you plant peace, peace expands. If you plant ease, ease begins to shape your hours in ways you may not even notice at first. The mind follows what is repeated. The heart responds to what is believed. The body listens to the tone you speak into it. There is no need to make this morning into a performance. You do not need to prove that you are spiritual enough, calm enough, healed enough, or wise enough. You do not need to force yourself into joy. You do not need to pretend everything feels perfect. You do not need to deny what is hard. You only need to open a little. That is enough. Open a little to peace. Open a little to softness. Open a little to the possibility that today does not have to feel like yesterday. Open a little to the truth that life can support you. Open a little to the truth that your soul already knows how to come back to calm. Even now, as this day begins, there is a quiet healing happening. It happens every time you refuse to begin with self-attack. It happens every time you choose one peaceful thought over 10 fearful ones. It happens every time you stop and breathe instead of rushing and tightening. It happens every time you speak gently to yourself instead of speaking with pressure. Healing is not always loud. It is often soft. It is often hidden. It is often a small shift in the way you begin the day. That small shift becomes a new path. That new path becomes a new habit. That new habit becomes a new life. Life is not asking you to wake up perfect. Life is inviting you to wake up present. Present to your breath. Present to your heart. Present to the quiet power that exists before fear starts talking. Present to the truth that this day is still unwritten. Present to the truth that you are allowed to choose differently. So let this morning be a meeting between your soul and your willingness. Let it be a meeting between your tired places and your loving attention. Let it be a meeting between the life you have been living and the life you are ready to create from within. There is something sacred in saying yes to the day before the day tells you what it will be. There is something powerful in choosing your energy before the world tries to hand you its own. There is something deeply healing in saying, I will not wait for permission to begin in peace. I will not wait for perfect conditions to choose ease. I will not wait for every outer detail to line up before I let joy enter my heart. Today, I choose first. Today, I choose from within. Today, I begin with a new center. And if the mind says, but you have so much to do, let the heart answer, I can do it with peace. If the mind says, but you are not ready, let the soul answer, I begin anyway. If the mind says, but what if today goes wrong? Let your deeper wisdom answer, then I will still meet it with grace. The goal is not to control the whole day from the first moment. The goal is to meet the day with the energy you want to carry. That energy matters. That energy shapes conversations, decisions, reactions, and even the way you hold your own body. Joy is not just a feeling, it is a way of walking into the day. Peace is not just a moment, it is a way of meeting what comes. Ease is not laziness, it is trust in motion. Today can still hold work. It can still hold challenges. It can still ask things of you. But when you begin from the inside with calm, you do not meet those things the same way. You do not meet them already defeated. You do not meet them already overwhelmed. You do not meet them already angry at life. You meet them with more room inside, more breath, more grace, more strength that does not need to look hard in order to be real. This is the hidden gift of a peaceful morning. It does not always change the outside world first. It changes the one who walks into it. So pause for one more moment before moving into the rest of this day. Let your heart hear something true. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not already losing the day. You are at the beginning. You are at the doorway, and you can step through it with gentleness. You can step through it with hope. You can step through it with trust. This morning is not here to test you. It is here to open you. It is here to remind you. It is here to say, life is still offering itself to you, and you are allowed to receive it with joy, peace, and ease. Today I choose joy, peace, and ease. These words may sound simple, but they carry a deep kind of power. They are not small because they are simple. In fact, simple truths often have the greatest strength. When you say, "Today I choose joy," you are not saying that life must be perfect before your heart can open. When you say, "Today I choose peace," you are not saying that nothing difficult will happen. When you say, "Today I choose ease," you are not saying that you will never need effort. You are saying so, something far more powerful. You are saying that the energy you bring into this day is not being chosen by fear. It is being chosen by you. There is a big difference between waiting to feel good and choosing the direction of your heart. Many people wait for joy to arrive from the outside. They wait for good news. They wait for the right mood. They wait for other people to be easier. They wait for the day to prove itself safe. But if you only let the outside world decide how you feel, then your peace is always fragile. Your joy is always delayed. Your ease is always in danger. Spiritual strength begins when you understand that inner choice comes before outer result. First, you choose the energy, then you carry it into the day. Then life begins to respond to the space you have made within yourself. Joy is not the same thing as pretending. It is not fake smiling. It is not pushing away your real feelings. It is not denying pain. Real joy is quieter and deeper than that. Real joy is the willingness to stay open to goodness. It is the decision not to close your heart just because life has been hard. It is the courage to notice beauty even while healing. It is the strength to say, yes, I have known sadness, but I still make room for light. Joy is a form of spiritual trust. It says, I believe there is still something good available to me today. Peace is not passivity. Peace is not weakness. Peace does not mean you stop caring. Peace means you stop fighting every moment in your own mind. Peace means you stop creating suffering with constant inner pressure. Peace means you stop giving every thought the power to rule your day. There may still be things to do. There may still be choices to make. There may still be problems to face. But peace changes how you face them. Peace creates room around your thoughts. Peace creates softness in your body. Peace creates clarity where fear creates noise. To choose peace is to give yourself the gift of not becoming your own enemy. Ease is often misunderstood. Many people hear the word ease and think it means laziness, avoidance, or weakness. But ease is not the absence of movement. Ease is the absence of inner war. Ease means you no longer believe that suffering is the only path to worth. Ease means you let yourself breathe while living. Ease means you trust that life can support you. Ease means you stop pushing so hard against the flow that you exhaust yourself before the day has even fully opened. Ease does not mean everything will be simple. It means you stop making everything harder by tightening against it. There is something very healing about beginning the day with a clear inner decision. A decision settles energy. A decision gathers scattered thoughts. A decision calls your spirit back into your own hands. Without a clear choice, the day chooses for you. Your habits choose for you. Your fears choose for you. Your old pain chooses for you. But with a clear choice, you become present. You become intentional. You become aligned. You stop drifting into the day and start entering it with awareness. That awareness is sacred. That awareness is creative. That awareness is where a new kind of life begins. Today I choose joy, peace, and ease. Say it again inside yourself. Not quickly, not as a routine. Let each word land. Today, not next week, not when everything gets easier, not after you earn rest. Today, I choose not my past, not my fear, not the mood of the world. I choose joy, peace. This is the path. This is the tone. This is the way I walk through the hours ahead. The more you let these words sink into you, the more they begin to shape the day before it even unfolds. Your life changes in many small ways before it changes in large, visible ways. It changes in the sentence you say to yourself before getting up. It changes in whether you rush or breathe. It changes in whether you begin with dread or openness. It changes in whether your inner voice is hard or kind. These things may seem invisible, but they are not unimportant. They become the atmosphere of your day. And atmosphere matters. A room filled with tension feels different from a room filled with peace. In the same way, a day entered with fear feels different from a day entered with trust. You can feel it. Others can feel it. Life responds to it. The world has taught many people that seriousness is more powerful than joy, that worry is more responsible than peace, that struggle is more respectable than ease. But the teaching is not truth. Worry does not love you. Constant pressure does not make you wise. Inner struggle does not make you more worthy. In fact, a person who knows how to move with peace is deeply strong. A person who knows how to choose joy in a dark world is deeply brave. A person who knows how to welcome ease after years of tension is deeply healing. There is no weakness in softness. There is power in it. There is intelligence in it. There is spiritual maturity in it. Maybe you were raised around stress. Maybe urgency was normal. Maybe love felt mixed with pressure. Maybe rest felt unsafe. Maybe joy felt temporary. Maybe peace felt unfamiliar. If so, of course, ease can feel strange at first. Of course, calm can feel unfamiliar. Of course, a softer way can feel almost too simple. But unfamiliar does not mean wrong. Sometimes what heals you first feels unusual because you have lived too long inside what hurts you. Sometimes peace feels strange only because stress has become normal. Sometimes ease feels far away only because struggle has been repeated for years. That can change. It changes one choice at a time. Choosing joy does not mean you never feel sadness. Choosing peace does not mean you never feel anger. Choosing ease does not mean you stop caring about your responsibilities. These are not denials of your humanity. They are directions for your spirit. There may be moments in this day when sadness visits. There may be moments when frustration rises. There may be moments when the old pressure returns. But a morning choice gives you something to return to. It gives you an inner path back home. When fear rises, you remember your choice. When stress returns, you remember your choice. When the mind starts spinning, you remember your choice. I chose joy. I chose peace. I chose ease. Let me come back to that. This is what makes a spiritual morning practice so powerful. It is not about becoming a different person for 5 quiet minutes and then losing yourself for the rest of the day. It is about creating a center you can return to again and again. It is about teaching your mind a new place to go. It is about teaching your body that calm is possible. It is about teaching your soul that it no longer needs to enter every day in defense. Today's choice becomes today's anchor. It becomes the thread that runs through the hours. It becomes the quiet reminder that no matter what happens outside, you can still choose how to meet it. You do not need to know every step of the day in order to choose its energy. You do not need to have all the answers in order to choose peace. You do not need guarantees in order to choose ease. This is one of the deepest forms of trust. To choose a calm spirit before you know what the day will bring is a sacred act. It says, I do not need to control every outcome in order to begin with openness. It says, I trust myself to meet what comes. It says, I trust life enough to stop starting in fear. That trust is not blind, it is wise. It comes from the part of you that knows fear has never truly protected your soul. It only made it tired. Let joy be simpler than you think. Joy may be in the light coming through a window. Joy may be in warm tea, in a fresh breath, in the sound of morning, in one kind thought. Joy does not always arrive as a big event. Often it arrives quietly. It asks only that you notice. A heart full of pressure misses many small miracles. A heart full of openness sees them. If you begin today by choosing joy, you begin by telling your eyes what to look for. You begin by telling your heart what is welcome. You begin by telling life, I am available for goodness today. Let peace be more practical than you think. Peace may be in slowing down one breath. Peace may be in not answering every anxious thought. Peace may be in taking one thing at a time. Peace may be in speaking to yourself with more patience. Peace may be in deciding that not everything deserves your emotional energy. Peace is not far away. It is built in choices that are small enough to make right now. You do not need to wait for a retreat, a perfect weekend, or a different life in order to access peace. Peace begins in the way you speak, think, and respond in this very day. Let ease be more available than you think. Ease may be in unclenching your jaw. Ease may be in softening your shoulders. Ease may be in not rushing your own spirit. Ease may be in letting one thing be enough. Ease may be in trusting that you can move through the day without carrying every outcome on your back. Ease is not something life gives only to the lucky. Ease becomes possible when you stop believing that your constant tension is necessary for survival. The body longs for this message. The heart longs for this message. The soul knows this message already. It is deeply spiritual to choose a better inner atmosphere. Spirituality is not only found in big ideas, it is found in the daily energy you practice. It is found in the tone you bring into your kitchen, your work, your thoughts, your conversations. It is found in the choice to bless the day before the day speaks back. It is found in the decision to live as though life is not your enemy. Today I choose joy, peace, and ease is not just a pretty morning sentence. It is a way of walking. It is a way of thinking. It is a way of allowing your life to become softer from the inside out. Maybe part of you still says, but what if something goes wrong? Something may. Life is still life. But even then, joy gives resilience. Peace gives clarity. Ease gives breathing room. These choices do not make you weak in the face of difficulty. They make you more able to meet it without losing yourself. Stress makes everything feel urgent. Peace helps you know what truly matters. Fear makes every problem feel bigger. Joy reminds you that light still exists. Struggle makes you rigid. Ease helps you adapt with grace. These are not decorations for the day. They are supports for the soul. Let today be an answer to all the days you began in fear. Let today be a turning point, even if only in a small way. Let it be the day you stop handing your mornings over to old pain. Let it be the day you stop waking up and proving to stress that it still owns the first hour. Let it be the day you gently take your inner life back, not with force, not with anger, with love, with awareness, with quiet decision. Today I choose joy, peace, and ease. And because I choose them, I begin to see them. I begin to feel them. I begin to live from them. Say it again in your own way. Today I choose joy. Today I let my heart stay open to what is good. Today I choose peace. Today I refuse to turn every thought into a burden. Today I choose ease. Today I allow life to support me. These are holy choices. These are healing choices. These are life-giving choices. Repeat them until your body believes that today can be entered differently. Repeat them until your mind begins to soften. Repeat them until your spirit rises to meet them with quiet recognition. This is not a dream. This is a practice, and practice becomes reality through repetition. You are allowed to have a good day without guilt. You are allowed to move through this day without punishing yourself first. You are allowed to feel joy even if life is still unfolding. You are allowed to feel peace even if some things remain uncertain. You are allowed to feel ease even if work still needs to be done. These are not rewards for perfection. They are your birthright as a living soul. And the more you stop treating them as things you must earn, the more naturally they begin to flow through your life. Life meets an open heart differently than it meets a defended one. So here at the beginning of this day, choose clearly. Choose with love. Choose with calm certainty. Let the choice be simple enough to remember and strong enough to return to. Let it become the song beneath the day. Let it follow you into your actions, your thoughts, your steps, your speech. Let it be the quiet atmosphere around everything you do. Today, I choose joy, peace, and ease. And because I choose them, I begin the day as someone who is no longer waiting for life to change first. I begin the day as someone who knows the deepest change begins within. You do not need to carry yesterday into today. You do not need to bring every worry, every mistake, every heavy feeling, every hard moment into this new morning. You do not need to wake up and put the same weight back on your shoulders just because it was there before you slept. Yesterday happened. It had its feelings. It had its lessons. It had its pressures. It had its tears, its doubts, its effort, its unfinished moments. But it is not this morning. And if you keep holding yesterday too tightly, you leave no room for the grace that wants to meet you today. Many people wake up still holding conversations that are over, still replaying moments they cannot change, still carrying guilt that has already exhausted them, still thinking about what they should have done, should have said, should have handled better. The mind loves to return to the past and ask for a different story. But the past cannot be relived into peace through fear. It cannot be healed through self-punishment. It cannot be changed by carrying it again and again. All that happens is this. Yesterday starts to cover today, and a new day, which could have brought fresh energy, gets buried under old emotional weight. There is wisdom in reflection, but there is no healing in endless replay. Reflection says, "What can I learn?" Replay says, "Let me suffer again." Reflection opens the heart. Replay traps the mind. Reflection brings growth. Replay brings exhaustion. You are allowed to learn from what happened without dragging it behind you like a chain. You are allowed to care without clinging. You are allowed to remember without becoming trapped inside the memory. This is one of the great spiritual gifts you can offer yourself in the morning, the gift of release. Maybe yesterday was difficult. Maybe people asked too much of you. Maybe your own thoughts were loud. Maybe you felt discouraged, unseen, overwhelmed, or tired in a way that sleep did not fully touch. Maybe there was disappointment. Maybe something did not go as planned. Maybe you were hard on yourself. Maybe you said yes when your heart meant no. Maybe you doubted your worth. Maybe you felt behind. Maybe you felt like you were carrying too much for too long. If any of that is true, then this morning is even more important. This morning is the moment when you stop and say, "I do not need to begin today from the wound of yesterday." There is such a gentle strength in letting the day start fresh. Not because the past did not matter, but because your soul deserves space to breathe. You deserve more than constant emotional carryover. You deserve more than living every morning in reaction to what already happened. There is a difference between honoring what you felt and becoming ruled by it. You can honor the pain of yesterday without giving it authority over today. You can say, yes, that was hard. Yes, I felt that deeply. Yes, I am still tender. And still I choose not to make that the whole atmosphere of this new day. Think of how often nature begins again without apology. Morning comes after the darkest night. Light returns without asking whether yesterday was easy or hard. The sky does not hold on to every storm forever. The earth does not refuse a new day because the last one was heavy. Life itself moves in cycles of renewal, and you are part of life. Renewal belongs to you too. A fresh start is not something you have to earn. It is something you are allowed to receive. This morning is not asking you to deny the past. It is inviting you not to live inside it any longer than necessary. The heart becomes tired when it carries what should have been released. The body becomes tense when it braces for a repeat of yesterday. The mind becomes noisy when it never learns how to put something down. That is why morning release matters so much. Before the day gets busy, before your attention is pulled in many directions, pause and notice what you are already holding. Are you holding regret? Are you holding fear? Are you holding shame? Are you holding tension from a conversation, worry from a task, or sadness from something unresolved? Whatever it is, let yourself see it with honesty and kindness. You cannot release what you refuse to notice, but once you notice, the door opens. Releasing yesterday does not mean becoming careless. It does not mean you stop learning, stop caring, or stop being responsible. It means you stop using suffering as your morning ritual. It means you stop waking up and handing the first moments of the day to regret. It means you stop treating your own spirit as if it must always begin from a place of heaviness. Release is not forgetting. Release is choosing not to keep feeding what is already hurting you. Release is spiritual wisdom. Release is emotional mercy. Release is love in action. There may be old patterns in you that say, if I let this go, I am being irresponsible. If I stop worrying, I will fall behind. If I stop replaying, I will make the same mistake. But peace does not make you careless. Peace makes you clear. Ease does not make you lazy. Ease makes you available for right action. Joy does not make you blind. Joy gives you strength. You do not need to suffer in order to be sincere. You do not need to carry guilt in order to prove that something mattered. You do not need to begin the day with heaviness in order to be a good person. That old training can be released. This morning, imagine yourself standing at the edge of a new day with full hands. In those hands are all the pieces of yesterday, the words you kept replaying, the pressure you kept carrying, the disappointment you kept returning to, the criticism you aimed at yourself, the fear that followed you into sleep. You have been holding these things as if they are required, but they are not. Slowly, gently, Let your hands open. Let your inner grip soften. Let what does not belong to this morning fall away. Not with force, not in anger, in love, in permission, in quiet trust that you do not have to take all of yesterday with you. There is peace in saying that was yesterday and this is today. These words are simple, but they can open a deep inner space. That was yesterday, that conversation, that pressure, that sadness, that mistake, that confusion. It was real, but it was yesterday, and this is today. This breath is today. This light is today. This body standing here is today. This new chance is today. The more you let yourself feel the truth of that, the more your spirit can return to the present instead of staying caught in what has already passed. Maybe there is something in yesterday that still hurts. If so, do not push it away. Bring tenderness to it. Bring compassion to it. Speak to it softly. Say, I know you are there. I know that hurt. I know that fear. I know that disappointment. I know that tiredness. And still, I do not need to build my whole day around you. Pain can be acknowledged without becoming your identity. Tenderness can exist without becoming total heaviness. This is how healing begins, not by denying what was real, but by giving it a gentler place in your life instead of letting it rule everything. Sometimes the hardest thing to release is not a specific event, but an emotional habit. The habit of expecting stress. The habit of waking up already disappointed. The habit of assuming the day will be hard. The habit of scanning for what will go wrong. These habits are often born from survival. They were learned over time. They may have once helped you feel prepared, but now they may only be stealing your peace. This morning, you are allowed to interrupt that pattern. You are allowed to say, just because I used to begin this way does not mean I have to begin this way today. A new morning gives you the chance to become a kinder place to live inside. And that begins with what you no longer carry forward. Leave behind the version of yourself that must rehearse pain first thing in the day. Leave behind the voice that says you are already failing before you begin. Leave behind the pressure that says every day must be entered like a battle. Leave behind the belief that if something felt heavy yesterday, then heaviness must continue today. None of that is truth. Those are old burdens, and burdens are not your identity. You may not be able to release everything at once, and that is all right. You do not need to drop every fear in one perfect moment. You do not need to wake up and become completely free from every old feeling. Even a little release matters. Even one softer breath matters. Even choosing not to replay one painful thought matters. Healing grows through small permissions. It grows when you stop demanding total transformation and start honoring small shifts. Today, maybe release means not speaking harshly to yourself. Maybe it means not beginning the day with dread. Maybe it means deciding not to revisit one old regret for the 100th time. That is right. Il progress. That is sacred movement. Let there be something holy in the way you set yesterday down. You do not throw it away with anger. You place it down with wisdom. You say, "Thank you for what you taught me. Thank you for the ways you showed me where I need healing, boundaries, truth, or rest. But I do not need to carry all of you into this day." That is a powerful sentence. It respects the past without living under it. It honors what happened without becoming chained to it. It allows learning without requiring suffering as proof. The morning is a gentle teacher. It says, begin here, not there, here. Begin in the breath you are taking now. Begin in the body that is here now. Begin in the life that is asking to be lived now. Begin in the light that is touching this day now. This is where spiritual ease begins. Not in solving the whole past, in returning to the present, again and again. The present does not ask you to carry everything. The present asks you to be here. And being here is lighter than living in old replay. Let your heart hear this clearly. Yesterday may have shaped you, but it does not have to own you. Yesterday may have tired you, but it does not define this morning. Yesterday may have held struggle, but that does not mean struggle must be your first language today. You are allowed to begin in another tone. You are allowed to begin with softness. You are allowed to begin with relief. You are allowed to begin with the quiet inner sentence, "I leave yesterday behind." Say it slowly in your own spirit now. I leave yesterday behind. I leave behind regret. I leave behind pressure. I leave behind self-criticism. I leave behind the need to start the day already tired. I leave behind what no longer belongs to this morning. I make room for peace. I make room for joy. I make room for ease. These are not empty words. They are a clearing. They are a blessing. They are the opening of a path that was always waiting for you. As this day begins, let yesterday become lighter in your hands. Let its hold soften in your chest. Let its noise fade in your mind. You are not betraying your past by choosing peace. You are honoring your healing. You are choosing life. You are choosing to be present enough to receive what today may offer. There may be beauty waiting for you. There may be calm waiting for you. There may be support waiting for you. But if your arms are full of what is already over, it is hard to receive what is new. Open your arms now. Open your morning now. Open your heart now. This day does not ask you to be untouched by yesterday. It asks only that you do not stay there. It asks only that you remember that you are more than what happened before. It asks only that you trust the healing power of a fresh beginning. And so, as you move into the next hours, carry less. Breathe more. Replay less. Notice more. Fear less. Trust more. Let the past rest where it belongs. Let this morning be new. Let this morning be gentle. Let this morning be yours. This moment is where your power lives. Not in the past, which has already spoken its piece. Not in the future, which has not yet arrived. Not in all the things your mind is trying to solve before they are even real. Your power is here, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this one quiet moment where life is meeting you exactly as you are. So much of human pain comes from leaving the present moment too quickly. The mind runs backward into regret or forward into worry, and in both directions, peace is lost. But right here, in the simple truth of now, there is something steady. There is something safe. There is something that does not ask you to figure everything out before you are allowed to feel calm. Most people have been taught to live almost anywhere except the present. They live in memory. They live in pressure. They live in fear of what might happen. They live in stories that have not happened yet and may never happen. They live in old pain that keeps asking for attention. And because of that, the beauty and support of this moment often go unnoticed. The present moment can seem too quiet for a mind that is used to noise. It can seem too simple for a life that has been filled with urgency. But what seems simple is often where the deepest healing begins. The present moment does not ask you to carry the whole week. It does not ask you to control tomorrow. It does not ask you to fix everything that once hurt. It only asks you to be here. There is something very gentle about the truth of now. Right now, you are breathing. Right now, the earth is holding you. Right now, life is still moving through you. Right now, not everything needs your attention at once. Right now, many of the things your mind is shouting about are not actually happening in this exact second. The mind may say, "What about later? What about that problem? What about that fear? What about that conversation? What about that task?" But the soul says, "Come back. Come back to this breath. Come back to this body. Come back to what is real in this moment." Because the more you return here, the more you begin to understand that peace is not found by solving every possible future. Peace is found by learning how to stay in the life that is actually happening now. This moment has a quiet wisdom. It does not push. It does not rush. It does not threaten you. It simply offers itself. It says, "Here is one breath you can trust. Here is one step you can take. Here is one moment you can soften into." That is how life is truly lived, not all at once, but moment by moment. And yet so often, the mind tries to live the whole day before breakfast. It tries to feel tomorrow's pressure today. It tries to answer questions that are not ready to be answered. It tries to protect you by staying busy with fear. But fear is not the same as wisdom. Constant mental movement is not the same as clarity. In fact, Real clarity often comes only when you stop running ahead and come fully back to where your feet are. There is no healing in abandoning the present moment. There is no joy in missing what is here because you are busy fearing what might come. There is no ease in carrying the future as I, if it already belongs on your back. That is why this moment matters so much. This moment is where you can breathe again. This moment is where you can remember that you are not required to solve everything at once. This moment is where your nervous system can begin to relax. This moment is where the body starts to hear a different message. Not hurry, not brace, not prepare for the worst, but soften, breathe, be here. Many people think the present moment is too small to change anything. They think real change happens in grand decisions, in big breakthroughs, in dramatic turns of life. But the truth is, whole lives are changed by what a person does with the moments they usually overlook. A life becomes peaceful, one present moment at a time. A mind becomes calmer, one present moment at a time. A heart becomes more trusting, one present moment at a time. Healing does not only happen in large visible steps. It often happens in the gentle choice to stop, to breathe, to feel your feet on the ground, and to come back to what is real. That choice may look small, but it changes everything. When you return to the present moment, you stop feeding many of the thoughts that keep you tired. You stop giving power to fears that are only shadows in the mind. You stop making yourself responsible for every future outcome. You stop asking your heart to carry more than it can hold. And that creates space. Space in the body, space in the breath, space in the mind, space in the spirit. In that space, joy can return. In that space, peace can rise. In that space, ease begins to feel possible again. The present moment is not empty. It is full of quiet support, but you can only feel it if you are willing to stay. This is why the present moment is such a spiritual place. It is where truth lives. The past may be full of stories. The future may be full of imagination. But the present is where life actually meets you. It is where your breath is happening. It is where your body is alive. It is where your choices are being made. It is where your energy is being shaped. It is where love can enter. It is where grace can be felt. It is where you remember that you are not lost in time. You are here. And here is enough to begin. Here is enough to breathe. Here is enough to choose peace. Sometimes people avoid the present moment because they fear what they will feel if they become still. They fear sadness, loneliness, tension, grief, or emptiness. And that fear is understandable. Many people stay busy because stillness has not always felt safe. But the present moment is not asking you to force anything. It is not asking you to sit in pain without kindness. It is asking you to return gently. Return with compassion. return with softness. Return with the understanding that whatever you feel, you can meet it one breath at a time. You do not have to enter the present moment like a judge. You can enter it like a friend. Let this moment become kinder as you stay with it. Notice how much pressure begins to lose its grip when you are not trying to think 10 steps ahead. Notice how your being softens when you are not rehearsing the whole day in fear. Notice how even one slow breath can interrupt a storm of thoughts. Notice how your heart feels when you stop rushing away from yourself. So much of what you need is hidden inside this slower way of being. Not because the present moment makes all pain disappear, but because it gives you something real to stand on while life keeps moving. You may not know everything about the day ahead, but you do know this moment. You know this breath. You know that right now you can choose not to attack yourself. You know that right now you can soften your shoulders. You know that right now you can take one kind thought and let it be enough. You know that right now you do not need to carry every answer. That is not a small thing. That is the doorway to a different kind of day. A day lived with more presence is a day lived with more grace. A day lived with more presence is a day where fear has less room to lead. The present moment has another gift. It brings you back to gratitude without forcing it. When you are truly here, you begin to notice what is holding you. The breath, the light, the warmth of a cup in your hands, the sound of morning, the beating of your heart, the simple fact that life is still with you. Gratitude grows naturally in presence because you begin to see what fear makes invisible. A worried mind misses many blessings. A present heart notices them, and what you notice begins to shape how you feel. What you honor begins to feel more alive in your experience. Presence opens the eyes of the soul. There is no need to master this all at once. Returning to the present moment is a practice. The mind may wander many times. Let it wander and then gently bring it back. No shame, no frustration, just return. Return to your breath, return to your body, return to the truth that this moment does not require your panic. Return to the truth that you are safe enough to be here now. Each return strengthens something in you. Each return teaches your inner world a new path. Each return becomes an act of trust. And trust, practiced gently, begins to change the whole tone of your life. Perhaps for years you have lived in reaction, always slightly ahead of yourself, always mentally leaving the moment before it could nourish you. If so, let this morning be different. Let this morning be the beginning of a softer relationship with time. You do not need to outrun the day in order to survive it. You do not need to grip the future in order to feel prepared. You do not need to live in tomorrow's fear in order to be wise today. Wisdom often looks much quieter than fear. Wisdom breathes. Wisdom pauses. Wisdom listens. Wisdom knows that what is needed next will be easier to see when the mind is not in a constant rush. The point of power is always in the present moment, because this is the only place where you can choose. You cannot choose in yesterday. You cannot act in tomorrow. But here, in this breath, you can choose how to speak to yourself. Here, you can choose what thought to repeat. Here, you can choose whether to tighten or soften. Here, and you can choose whether to feed fear or come back to calm. This is your sacred power. It is not far away. It is not hidden. It is here, in the quiet choices of now. The more you honor this, the more your life begins to feel less scattered and more whole. So let this moment hold you for a little longer. Let it teach you that you do not need to go anywhere else to begin feeling peace. Let it show you that ease begins the moment you stop leaving yourself. Let it remind you that life is not only waiting in the future. Life is here. Love is here. Support is here. Breath is here. You are here. And that is enough. That is more than enough. From this place, you can walk into the day with less fear and more trust. From this place, you can choose again. From this place, the rest of the day begins to look gentler. The thoughts you begin with become the feeling of your day. They become the inner weather that follows you into everything. They shape your mood before the world has had much chance to speak. They color the way you look at simple moments. They influence how you respond to people, to delays, to surprises, to yourself. This is why morning thoughts matter so deeply. They are not just passing words in the mind. They are seeds. They are instructions. They are quiet messages sent to the body, to the heart, and to the energy you carry. If the first thoughts of the day are full of pressure, the whole system tightens. If the first thoughts are full of kindness, something inside begins to open. It is easy to wake up and let the mind go wherever old habits want to take it. For many people, it runs straight into worry. It asks, what if today is hard? What if I cannot do enough? What if something goes wrong? What if I disappoint someone? What if I fail? What if I fall behind? These thoughts may feel automatic, but automatic does not mean true. It only means practiced. A thought repeated often begins to feel familiar. A familiar thought begins to feel like reality. And when that thought is fear-based, it can set the whole day in motion from a place of struggle before anything has even happened. This is why awareness matters. The thoughts you repeat most often are shaping far more than you may realize. Your thoughts are not meaningless. Every thought carries a direction. Every thought moves your inner energy in some way. A loving thought softens. A fearful thought tightens. A hopeful thought opens. A harsh thought hardens. A peaceful thought creates space. A worried thought fills that space with noise. You can feel the difference in your body almost at once. Think of what happens when you say to yourself, "This day is too much." The chest tightens, the breath grows smaller, the body prepares for strain. Now think of what happens when you say, "I will take this day one gentle step at a time." Something softens, the shoulders drop, the breath has room again. The mind becomes less sharp and more clear. This is not imaginary. This is the direct effect of thought on experience. So many people have learned to speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to someone they love. They begin the day with criticism, pressure, blame, or urgency. They speak to themselves like a machine, not a soul. Hurry, do more, be better, fix everything, do not fall behind. But the heart does not bloom under pressure. The mind does not find wisdom under attack. The body does not feel safe when the inner voice is harsh. If you want your day to feel different, one of the first places to begin is with the tone of your own thoughts. Not because you must be cheerful every second, but because your inner voice becomes the atmosphere in which your life unfolds. The mind tends to believe what it hears often. That is why repeated thoughts are so powerful. It is not only the dramatic thoughts that matter, it is the ordinary, repeated ones. I am tired. I am behind. Nothing ever gets easier. I cannot handle this. People do not support me. Life is hard. These thoughts may seem small because they are common, but repeated often enough, they begin to shape expectation. Expectation shapes perception. Perception shapes feeling. Feeling shapes behavior. And then behavior creates more of the same result. This is how thought patterns become lived experience. Not all at once, but slowly, quietly, consistently. The good news is that this same power can work in your favor. Just as repeated fearful thoughts can shape a hard day, repeated peaceful thoughts can shape a gentler one. Just as a harsh inner voice can make life feel heavier, a loving inner voice can make life feel more supported. It is not about pretending. It is about guiding your inner world with more wisdom. If the mind can learn fear, it can learn peace. If it can practice self-criticism, it can practice self-respect. If it can repeat pressure, it can repeat truth. This is where the real shift begins, not in forcing positive thinking over pain, but in choosing thoughts that create more room for life, breath, joy, and ease. Morning is one of the most powerful times to guide your thoughts because the mind is still soft from sleep. It has not yet been fully claimed by the noise of the day. There is a kind of openness there, a kind of quiet space where new thoughts can land more deeply. This is why a morning affirmation matters. This is why a gentle sentence spoken early can carry real power. It enters before the rush. It settles before the pressure. It becomes the first note in the song of the day. If that note is one of trust, the whole day begins differently. If that note is one of peace, the body hears something new. If that note is one of love, the heart starts from another place. The goal is not to control every thought. That would only create more tension. Thoughts will come and go. Some will be kind. Some will be old. Some will come from habit. Some will come from fear. The practice is not to become perfect. The practice is to notice and choose again. A fearful thought may appear, but it does not have to become the leader of your day. A critical thought may rise, but it does not have to become your truth. You can hear it and still decide not to build your morning around it. You can answer it with something wiser, something that brings you back to yourself instead of pulling you away. Imagine the difference between starting the morning with the thought, "I am already overwhelmed," and starting it with the thought, "I will meet this day with calm." One thought takes your power before the day begins. The other returns it to you. One thought tells the nervous system to brace. The other tells it to breathe. One thought narrows your spirit. The other gives it room. This is how thoughts shape the feeling of your day. They tell your body what kind of world it thinks it is waking into. They tell your heart whether to guard itself or open. They tell your mind whether to run or to trust. Thought is not only mental. Thought is energetic. The thoughts you repeat create a tone around you. They shape the way you walk into a room. They shape the way you answer the phone. They shape the way you look at delays, mistakes, and even beauty. When your thoughts are rooted in fear, you often miss what is good because you are too busy looking for what might go wrong. When your thoughts are rooted in openness, you begin to notice help, kindness, timing, and small blessings more easily. The outside world may not have changed much at first, but your relationship to it changes, and that changes everything. Let this be a morning of kinder thoughts, not because you are forcing yourself into false brightness, but because your spirit deserves a better place to live inside. You deserve thoughts that support you. You deserve thoughts that help your body feel safe. You deserve thoughts that bring you into the day with more steadiness and less fear. You deserve thoughts that speak to your worth instead of your wounds. There is no prize in beginning the day by making yourself feel smaller. There is no wisdom in attacking your own peace. There is another way, and it begins with what you choose to repeat. Simple thoughts often carry the deepest healing. Today is a good day to begin again. I do not need to rush my peace. Life is supporting me in ways I may not yet see. I can move gently and still do what needs to be done. I am allowed to feel calm. I am allowed to trust this moment. These kinds of thoughts do not need hard words or dramatic language to be powerful. Their power is in their truth. Their power is in their repetition. Their power is in the way they slowly become more familiar than fear. Over time, that familiarity becomes a new home inside you. You may still hear old thoughts. You may still notice the mind trying to return to tension. That does not mean you are failing. It simply means you are practicing. Every time you notice and redirect, you are building something new. Every time you choose a peaceful thought over an anxious one, you are shaping a different day. Every time you speak kindly to yourself instead of harshly, you are healing something deep. These small choices matter more than you think. They matter because they are how a new inner pattern is formed, not by force, but by repetition, not by shame, but by consistency. There is also something important to remember here. Thoughts are not only about what you say to yourself in words, they are also what you agree with. They are what you believe about the day, about life, about yourself. If deep down you believe every day must be hard, then even simple things may feel heavy. If deep down you believe you must prove your worth through strain, then ease may feel wrong. If deep down you believe peace is only for other people, then calm may feel unfamiliar. That is why morning intention is so healing. It helps you begin changing not only your surface thoughts, but the deeper beliefs beneath them. Slowly, lovingly, a new truth begins to take root. You can help this process by giving your mind a clear direction early, before checking messages, before stepping into work, before letting the world tell you what to feel. Take a moment and choose the kind of thought you want to live with today. Let it be simple. Let it be clear. Let it be something your heart can actually return to. Today I choose peace. Today I expect good things. Today I trust myself to move with grace. Today I will not speak harshly to my own heart. Today I carry ease into everything I do. These are not just words. They are the shaping power of consciousness. They tell the day what kind of person is entering it. Your day is deeply affected by the story you begin it with. If the story is, I am burdened, then everything starts to feel like a burden. If the story is, life is supporting me, then even effort feels different. If the story is, I am behind, then the whole day becomes a race. If the story is, I am exactly where I need to begin, then the day opens with more peace. The story matters. The repeated thought matters. The inner sentence matters. And because it matters, you are allowed to choose it with care. You are allowed to choose something that honors your healing. As this morning continues, let your thoughts become a blessing instead of a burden. Let them become words your body can rest in. Let them become a soft place your heart can return to. Let them shape the feeling of your day in a way that makes room for joy, peace, and ease. You do not need perfect thoughts. You only need a more loving direction. one thought at a time, one breath at a time, one moment at a time, you can teach your inner world a gentler way to live. And when the inner world becomes gentler, the whole day begins to change. Life is always offering something good, but many hearts are too guarded to receive it. Not because they are cold, not because they are ungrateful, but because they have been hurt. When you have known disappointment, you become careful. When you have known loss, you become protective. When you have known stress for a long time, your system begins to expect more of the same. And slowly, without meaning to, you stop only guarding against pain. You also start closing the door to good. That is why this next step matters so much. Today is not only about thinking peaceful thoughts. It is also about opening your heart enough to receive the love, help, beauty, ease, and blessings that are already trying to meet you. There is a quiet sadness in being surrounded by support and not feeling able to let it in. Some people are always waiting for the next hard thing, and because of that, they miss the soft thing that already arrived. They miss the kind word. They miss the good timing. They miss the helpful moment. They miss the peace available in a single breath. They miss the simple joy of being alive this morning. Goodness may still be near, but the heart, trained by fear, does not always know how to receive it. This is not something to judge. It is something to heal. And healing begins with willingness. The willingness to open, even a little. To open your heart to receive good is not to become naive. It is not to pretend that life contains no pain. It is not to walk through the world without wisdom or boundaries. It is to stop believing that protection must always look like closure. It is to understand that a closed heart may feel safe for a while, but it also becomes lonely, tired, and unable to feel the very things it longs for most. Love needs openness. Joy needs openness. Peace needs openness. Ease needs openness. Blessings do not enter clenched hands easily. They enter open hands. They enter a softened spirit. They enter a heart that says, I am willing to let life be kind to me too. So many people have learned how to give, but not how to receive. They know how to work, help, care, show up, carry, and keep going. But receiving feels strange. Rest feels strange. Support feels strange. Kindness feels strange. Ease feels strange. Why? Because receiving asks you to believe that you are worthy of good without having to exhaust yourself first. That can be a very deep healing. To receive means you stop treating goodness like something far away. You stop treating peace like something that must be earned. You stop believing that love belongs only after struggle. You begin to understand that life can support you now, not only later, not only when you are perfect. Now, this morning, let yourself consider a new possibility. What if good is already on its way to you? What if love is already present in forms you have not fully noticed? What if help is available? What if peace is closer than you think? What if this day does not need to be forced into beauty, because beauty is already trying to meet you? These questions are not childish. They are powerful. They soften the walls built by disappointment. They let light into places that have been living in too much caution. They remind the heart that receiving is not weakness. Receiving is participation in life. It is saying yes when goodness knocks. You may not be used to thinking of openness as strength, but it is. It takes strength to remain open after pain. It takes strength to trust again after disappointment. It takes strength to let life surprise you with kindness when you have learned to expect pressure. A guarded heart may feel strong because it is closed, but true strength is often much softer. True strength says, I will use wisdom, but I will not close myself to life. True strength says, I will protect my peace, but I will not shut out joy. True strength says, I have known difficulty, and still I choose to remain available for good. Open hearts notice more. They notice beauty in ordinary places. They notice the kindness in a simple exchange. They notice the gift of one peaceful moment. They notice the breath, the light, the timing, the support, the chance to begin again. A closed heart often says, that is not enough, that does not matter, I cannot trust it. But an open heart says, let me receive this. Let me honor this. Let me allow this small good thing to reach me. And that matters because what you receive begins to shape what you expect. What you welcome begins to grow. When you let good in, even in small forms, you teach the heart that life is not only a place of struggle. You teach it that beauty is real too. Maybe you have pushed good away without realizing it. Maybe you have brushed off compliments, ignored help, doubted blessings, and dismissed ease because some part of you did not know how to trust them. Maybe receiving felt uncomfortable because it touched a deeper question in you. Am I really allowed to have this? Am I really worthy of this softness? Am I really safe enough to let this in? If those questions live in you, meet them gently. Do not judge them. Just bring love to them. And then answer them differently. Yes, I am allowed to receive peace. Yes, I am worthy of kind things. Yes, I am safe to let good enter my life. There is something sacred about beginning the morning not only with intention, but with receptivity. Intention says, this is what I choose. Receptivity says, and this is what I am willing to receive. Together, they create a beautiful balance. You choose joy, and you also become willing to notice it. You choose peace, and you also become willing to let it settle into your body. You choose ease, and you also become willing to trust it when it appears. This matters because many people choose good in theory, but resist it in practice. They say they want peace, but they do not trust calm. They say they want love, but they expect disappointment. They say they want ease, but they still believe tension is more responsible. Opening your heart brings your spirit into agreement with what you say you want. Life can only meet you as deeply as you are willing to receive. This does not mean you must be perfectly healed before blessings arrive. It means even a little openness creates space. Even one soft yes creates space. Even one moment of saying, "I am willing to let this day be kind," changes your energy. That changed energy affects how you walk, how you speak, how you notice, how you respond. It affects what you are emotionally available for. Openness becomes a doorway. And through that doorway come the very things that fear once convinced you would never stay. Imagine your heart this morning like a window. Perhaps it has been closed for a long time. Perhaps it has only been open a crack. Perhaps it has been covered by disappointment, tiredness, pressure, or old grief. Now imagine slowly opening that window. Not all at once, just enough for light to enter. Just enough for fresh air to move through. Just enough for your spirit to feel that life is still reaching for you. You do not need to throw yourself open in one dramatic act. You only need willingness. Willingness is enough for light to begin. Willingness is enough for healing to start. Willingness is enough for goodness to find you. Open your heart to receive good in the little ways first. Receive the morning itself. Receive one kind breath. Receive one moment without pressure. Receive the beauty of being alive today. Receive the possibility that not everything must be hard. Receive the idea that help can reach you. Receive the truth that you do not have to do this day all alone. When you begin with small receiving, the heart learns. It learns that openness does not always lead to pain. It learns that good can arrive gently. It learns that life can hold you more kindly than fear once said. Receiving good also means loosening the habit of constant resistance. So many people resist peace without meaning to. They resist rest by feeling guilty for slowing down. They resist joy by telling themselves they should be doing more. They resist kindness by doubting it. They resist support by insisting they must carry everything alone. These habits often come from old survival patterns, but they can be softened. Today, let there be less resistance, less pushing away, less suspicion of what is gentle, less disbelief when something good appears. Let there be more allowing, more trust, more willingness to say, "Yes, I will let this reach me." Your heart is not made only to endure. It is also made to receive beauty, to receive peace, to receive love, to receive truth, to receive moments of joy that ask nothing from you except presence. The soul does not thrive on pressure alone. It needs nourishment. It needs softness. It needs reminders that life is not only about carrying burdens. This morning can be one of those reminders. It can be the morning when you stop seeing yourself only as someone who must cope and begin seeing yourself also as someone who can receive what helps, receive what heals, receive what comforts, receive what lifts your spirit. Say softly inside yourself, now I am open to good. I am open to peace. I am open to help. I am open to joy. I am open to the love that life is offering me today. Let those words settle into your chest. Let them become a new kind of permission. You do not have to force yourself to feel everything at once. Just let the words begin to open something. Let them remind the fearful places in you that receiving is safe. Let them remind the tired places in you that support exists. Let them remind the guarded places in you that life still has gifts to offer. And perhaps the greatest good you receive this morning is not outside you at all. Perhaps it is the return of your own softer self, the self that knows how to trust a little more, the self that no longer wants to begin every day in defense, the self that is ready to believe that goodness is possible, the self that is willing to be nourished, not just useful. The self that knows peace is not something to chase, but something to allow. That self is still here. That self has been waiting under the layers of pressure, fear, and habit. And this morning, by opening your heart, you make room for that self to rise again. So move into this day with a more open spirit. Let your heart stay available for kind moments. Let your eyes stay available for beauty. Let your mind stay available for peace. Let your life become a place where good can land and stay. You do not need to know exactly how blessings will come. You only need to stop closing the door before they arrive. Open a little, trust a little, receive a little. That is enough. That is how joy enters. That is how peace settles. That is how ease becomes real. Now let yourself imagine this morning as something more than a list of things to do. Let it become a feeling. Let it become a space. Let it become a soft beginning that reaches deeper than the mind. Imagine that the day has just opened and a quiet golden light is all around you. It is not a harsh light. It does not rush you. It does not demand anything from you. It is warm, calm, and gentle. It moves slowly, like kindness taking form. It touches the room softly. It rests on your skin lightly. It carries no pressure. It carries only peace. And as this light surrounds you, it feels as though life itself is saying, you do not have to begin this day in fear. You can begin in softness. See this light gathering around you now, even if only in your imagination. See it like the first warm light of morning, full of quiet care. It moves toward you with calm. It touches your forehead, and something in your mind begins to loosen. The thoughts do not need to stop all at once. They simply begin to soften. The overthinking starts to slow. The tension behind your eyes begins to ease. The pressure to know everything, fix everything, and control everything starts to fade. The light does not argue with your thoughts. It simply brings peace where there was noise. It brings stillness where there was rushing. It brings breath where there was tightness. Now let that light move to your face. Feel it resting gently around your eyes, your jaw, your mouth. So much strain can gather there without you noticing. So much effort, so much holding, so much pressure. But this morning light is kind. It asks nothing from you except willingness. It softens your jaw. It releases the need to clench. It relaxes the muscles that have been carrying more than they needed to carry. It says you do not have to brace yourself for the day. You do not have to meet this morning with force. You can let your face become soft. You can let your breath become natural. You can let your body hear that peace is here. Now let this golden light flow down into your shoulders. How often the shoulders try to carry the day before it even begins. How often they lift in quiet tension, preparing for pressure, preparing for stress, preparing for too much. But the light tells a different story. It says, put it down, not later, now. Put down the invisible weight, put down the need to begin in struggle. Put down the fear that says you must carry everything alone. The light warms your shoulders and they begin to drop. They begin to release what never belonged to this moment. They begin to remember that support is possible. As the light moves into your chest, it becomes even softer, even deeper. It surrounds your heart with warmth. It reaches the quiet places inside you that have been tired, cautious, guarded, or unsure. It does not force the heart open. It simply invites. It says, there is no danger in this breath. There is no threat in this moment. There is no need to close yourself before the day has even begun. And slowly, gently, the heart responds. It opens just a little. It softens just a little. It remembers that joy, peace, and ease are not far away. They are qualities already waiting within you, and this light is helping you feel them again. Let this light fill your lungs now. Feel your breath becoming fuller, easier, more free. Inhale gently and imagine breathing in peace. Exhale softly and imagine breathing out old strain. Inhale calm. Exhale pressure. Inhale trust. Exhale the need to force. The more you breathe with this image, the more your body begins to believe it. The body listens to feeling. It listens to tone. It listens to the atmosphere you create inside yourself. And right now you are creating an atmosphere of care, an atmosphere of support, an atmosphere of peace. This changes more than you know. It changes the way the morning sits inside you. It changes the way the day begins to form. Let the light move into your stomach now, the place where worry often gathers. So many unspoken fears settle there. So many quiet concerns make a home there. But today, the golden light reaches even this place. It soothes what has been twisting. It softens what has been gripping. It calms what has been preparing for trouble. It says, not everything needs to be solved right now. Not everything needs your fear. Not everything needs to be carried all at once. You are allowed to relax in this moment. You are allowed to trust one breath at a time. The more this light fills you, the more your body begins to move from defense into safety. Let the warmth continue down through your whole body, into your hips where you hold yourself upright, into your legs which carry you through life, into your feet which meet the ground every day. Feel how the light surrounds all of you. Not one part left out. Not one burden untouched, not one tired place forgotten. You are held in this warmth. You are surrounded in this calm. You are resting inside an image of peace, and the beauty of this is that the body does not always know the difference between a feared moment and a peaceful, imagined one. When you create peace inwardly, the body responds. It softens, it listens, it trusts. That is why this simple morning vision matters. It is not fantasy, it is alignment. In this golden morning light, nothing is chasing you. Nothing is shouting at you. Nothing is asking you to prove your worth. There is only breath. There is only warmth. There is only the quiet truth that life is not against you. Life is with you here. It is in the breath you are taking. It is in the calm you are allowing. It is in the softness you are choosing. It is in the gentle light that you are letting fill your inner world. This is what a peaceful morning feels like when you stop beginning the day from fear. It feels like being met, not threatened. It feels like being supported, not tested. It feels like being held by something wiser than pressure. Maybe you have not felt this way in a long time. Maybe mornings have been heavy. Maybe your body has forgotten how peace feels. That is all right. You do not need to force a perfect feeling. Just stay with the image a little longer. Stay with the warmth. Stay with the breath. Stay with the light. Let it be enough to know that another way of beginning is possible. Let it be enough to feel 1 inch softer than before. Let it be enough to remind your nervous system that calm exists. Let it be enough to show your heart that goodness can be received, not only imagined. And now imagine this light not only filling you, but staying with you as the day begins. It stays in your chest as you move. It stays in your breath as you go about your morning. It stays in your thoughts when old pressure tries to return. It stays in your body when the world begins to ask things of you. You carry this light into the day. You carry this calm into your conversations. You carry this peace into your choices. You carry this ease into the way you respond to yourself. The morning does not end when the clock changes. It continues through the energy you keep choosing. And this light becomes the reminder that you can keep returning to softness again and again. So let this be your morning picture, a golden light, a soft breath, a calm body, an open heart, a peaceful beginning. And whenever the day starts to pull you too fast, come back to it. Close your eyes for one small moment if you need to. Take one slow breath. Remember the warmth. Remember the softness. Remember that you are not meant to live in constant strain. You are allowed to move through life with peace. You are allowed to let light in. You are allowed to begin again, even in the middle of the day. The golden light is always here, not outside you alone, but within you, waiting to be felt. Words have power long before they are spoken out loud. They begin as quiet thoughts, then become feelings, then become the energy you bring into the day. And when you speak them with intention, they grow even stronger. Morning words matter because they become the first messages your heart hears, your body absorbs, and your mind begins to follow. If the first words of the day are full of pressure, the whole system grows tense. If the first words are full of blessing, something inside begins to rest. That is why simple morning affirmations can be so healing. They are not there to impress anyone. They are there to guide your inner world into truth. You do not need long or complicated words for this. In fact, the simplest words are often the ones that go deepest. A general audience does not need hard language to feel something real. The heart understands simple truth. The body understands gentle kindness. The soul recognizes clear, loving words. This is why morning affirmations work best when they are easy to say and easy to return to. They should not feel like a performance. They should feel like a soft hand placed over the heart. They should feel like a quiet path you can walk without effort. They should feel like something you can believe more and more each time you say them. Begin with words that set the tone of the day. Today I choose joy. Today I choose peace. Today I choose ease. These words are steady. They are clear. They carry the whole message of this morning in a way the mind can remember. They are not asking you to control everything that happens. They are simply asking you to choose the spirit in which you will meet what happens. That matters more than most people realize. The energy you choose becomes the shape of your day. The words you repeat become the feeling you return to. The phrases you bless yourself with become the atmosphere in which your morning grows. Then let your words become even softer, even more personal. Life supports me today. I am safe in this moment. I move through this day with calm. Good things can come to me with ease. My heart is open to peace. These are not magic lines. They are messages of alignment. They tell the body that it no longer has to prepare for battle. They tell the mind that it no longer needs to create struggle before the day even begins. They tell the heart that it can remain open and still be safe. They tell the spirit that this day can be entered with trust, not force. Repetition matters. You do not say these words once and expect all fear to vanish. You say them again and again because repetition is how new patterns are formed. It is how the mind learns. It is how the heart begins to believe differently. It is how the body slowly accepts a new tone. For years, many people have repeated fear without realizing it. They have said things like, I am so stressed. I am already tired. This is too much. Nothing gets easier. I cannot do this. Those are also affirmations, even if they do not sound like the kind people write down. They are repeated messages, and repeated messages shape experience. So now you are choosing different repetition. Repetition that heals. Repetition that blesses. Repetition that opens. It helps to say these morning words slowly, not like a list, not like a task. Let each sentence breathe, let it land inside you. Today I choose joy. Pause. Feel it. Today I choose peace. Pause. Let your shoulders soften. Today I choose ease. Pause. Let your breath deepen. Life supports me today. Pause. Let your chest relax. The slower you say loving words, the more room they have to settle. The point is not speed. The point is feeling. The point is letting the words enter your body, not just pass through your mind. There is also something powerful in repeating the same words every morning. Some people think they need new phrases all the time, but the truth is that familiar healing words can become like a path worn gently into the soul. The more often you speak them, the more natural they feel. The more natural they feel, the more quickly your whole being responds. Over time, one simple line can calm you because it has become linked with peace. One sentence can soften your body because your nervous system has heard it many times before. One affirmation can become a doorway back to yourself. That is the power of morning practice. It creates emotional memory around love instead of fear. These words also help you return when the day starts to pull you away from yourself. If stress rises later, you do not need a whole speech. You can come back to one line, I choose peace. If old pressure returns, you can come back to one line, I move with ease. If the mind begins to rush ahead, you can come back to one line, I am safe in this moment. That is why simple affirmations are so useful. They are easy to carry. They are easy to remember. They become anchors in motion. They travel with you into real life. Do not worry. if part of you does not fully believe every word at first. That is normal. Healing words often feel unfamiliar before they feel true. But unfamiliar is not the same as false. It may simply mean you are giving yourself a new language. You may have spent years learning pressure, criticism, and fear. It is natural that peace needs a little practice before it feels like home. Keep going gently. You do not need perfect belief. You only need willingness. Willingness allows the words in. Willingness creates the opening. Willingness says, I may not fully know this yet, but I am ready to learn a softer way. There is beauty in speaking words that bless the day before the day has a chance to speak over you. It is a way of meeting life with intention. It is a way of saying, I will not let fear be the first voice I hear this morning. I will let truth speak first. I will let kindness speak first. I will let peace speak first. In that choice, something shifts. You stop entering the day empty and reactive. You enter it full of your own chosen tone. That tone matters. It follows you like music under the surface. It changes how you hear the world and how you hear yourself. You can build a small cluster of morning words that feel natural for this theme. Today I choose joy, peace, and ease. I welcome this new day with a soft heart. Life is moving in my favor. I do not need to force what is meant for me. I allow good to find me today. All is well in this moment. These words fit the spiritual tone of the video and remain easy for a wide audience to understand. They do not use hard vocabulary. They do not sound distant or complicated. They feel human. They feel warm. They feel like something someone can repeat while making tea, opening a window, standing in silence, or simply waking slowly. The voice with which you say them matters too. Even if you speak them only inside yourself, let the tone be kind. Do not bark affirmations at your own heart. Do not demand peace from your body as if it has done something wrong. Speak softly. Speak with patience. Speak as though you are talking to a beloved part of yourself that has been tired for a long time. Because in many ways, that is exactly what you are doing. Morning affirmations are not there to control you. They are there to comfort you. They are there to guide you back into alignment with what is already true beneath the noise. And when you repeat these words often, they begin to change what feels normal. Peace starts to feel more familiar. Joy starts to feel less distant. Ease starts to feel less suspicious. The body begins to trust softness. The mind begins to expect support. The heart begins to notice good more quickly. This is how a day is blessed from within. Not by perfect circumstances, but by the repeated language of trust. Not by luck, but by conscious inner choice. not by one dramatic shift, but by many gentle returns to truth. So let your words this morning be few but full. Let them be simple but powerful. Let them be kind but strong enough to guide you. Let them bless the way you think, the way you breathe, the way you move, and the way you meet the hours ahead. Morning words are like seeds dropped into the beginning of the day. Speak them with care. Speak them with love, and then carry them with you like light. Today I choose joy. Today I choose peace. Today I choose ease. Life supports me. Good can come to me today. I welcome this day with trust. The morning gives you the first tone, but the day is where that tone is tested, strengthened, and lived. That is why trust matters so much. It is one thing to feel peaceful in a quiet moment. It is another thing to carry that peace into the movement of life. As the day unfolds, there will be tasks, people, choices, surprises, delays, and moments you did not plan. This is where many people lose themselves again. They begin the morning softly, but then the outside world pulls them back into force. Yet it does not have to be that way. Peace is not only for the early hour. Ease is not only for the first breath. Joy is not only for the opening moment. These qualities can travel with you when you choose trust. Trust does not mean every part of the day will be simple. Trust means you stop believing that pressure is the only way to get through it. Trust means you stop acting as though fear is your most reliable guide. Trust means you remember that you can move through real life with a softer inner posture. That posture changes everything. When trust is present, you do not react the same way. You do not take every delay as a threat. You do not turn every question into panic. You do not treat every task as proof that life is too much. Trust gives room. Trust gives breath. Trust keeps your spirit from collapsing under the ordinary movement of the day. So many people move through their hours in silent resistance. They resist the pace of life. They resist the things they cannot control. They resist the fact that not everything happens on their schedule. They resist uncertainty. They resist pause. They resist what they do not yet understand. And that resistance creates more suffering than the moment itself. The day may bring effort, but resistance adds strain. The day may bring challenge, but resistance adds heaviness. The day may bring waiting, but resistance adds frustration. Trust softens this. Trust does not remove responsibility, but it removes the extra inner war. To move through the day with trust is to believe that you do not need to force every outcome. It is to believe that what is meant to happen will unfold one step at a time. It is to believe that you can respond instead of panic. It is to believe that calm is useful. It is to believe that support can appear in ways you do not yet see. This kind of trust changes how you hold the day. Instead of gripping it, you walk with it. Instead of chasing it, you meet it. Instead of bracing against it, you move with it. There is wisdom in this kind of movement. It is not passive. It is deeply aligned. As the hours unfold, keep coming back to one simple truth. I do not need to carry the whole day at once. You only ever live one moment at a time. You only ever breathe one breath at a time. You only ever take one next step. The mind may try to gather all your responsibilities into one heavy pile and place it on your chest, but that is not how life is truly met. Life is met in small, faithful movements. One task, one breath, one choice, one pause, one kind response, one moment of returning to yourself. This is how trust becomes practical, not through grand speeches, but through the refusal to let the mind turn the whole day into one huge weight. Trust also means allowing good to arrive in ways you did not plan. The day may bring a pause you did not expect, a conversation that helps, a kind word, a quiet answer, a beautiful moment in the middle of routine, a solution that appears after you stop forcing. These things are often missed by a mind that is too tight. When you move through the day with trust, your vision widens. You notice support more easily. You notice what is working. You notice what is kind. You notice where life is helping you, even in small ways. Trust makes you more available for grace. There may be moments when old pressure returns strongly. That is all right. You do not need to make that mean you have lost your morning peace. Just return. Return to the breath. Return to the words you chose. Return to the gentle truth that you can begin again, even at noon, even in the middle of a hard moment, even after frustration rises. Trust is not about never being shaken. It is about remembering how to come back. It is about knowing where home is inside yourself. It is about practicing the art of return until peace becomes easier to find. When a difficult moment comes, try not to ask at once, "How do I fix everything?" Instead ask, "How can I meet this with calm? How can I stay kind to myself here? How can I move through this without leaving my own center?" Those are trust-filled questions. They shift you from panic into presence. They move you from force into wisdom. They remind you that, even in challenge, your energy matters. The day is not only shaped by what happens, it is shaped by how you meet what happens. And trust changes the way you meet it. It helps to picture trust not as a big dramatic leap, but as a steady hand resting on your shoulder through the day. A quiet hand that says, "Slow down, breathe." You are not alone in this moment. You do not need to make every decision from fear. You do not need to hurry your spirit. You do not need to solve tomorrow from here. That quiet hand is always available. It may be called inner wisdom. It may be called faith. It may be called the deeper self. Whatever name you give it, it reminds you that there is a calmer way to move. Trust also protects joy. Without trust, joy becomes fragile because it depends on perfect conditions. But with trust, joy becomes more steady. It can remain even in an imperfect day. It can live in the smallest good things. It can rise in the middle of effort. It can stay close even when everything is not smooth. The same is true of peace. The same is true of ease. These qualities do not need a flawless day. They need a heart that is willing to remain open and a mind that is willing to loosen its grip. Trust makes that possible. If you notice yourself rushing, let that be your signal to pause. If you notice yourself tightening, let that be your signal to soften. If you notice yourself telling the story that everything is too much, let that be your signal to return to the truth that one moment is enough right now. These small returns are how you carry a peaceful morning into a real day. They are how spiritual intention becomes lived practice. They are how the energy of the opening hour begins to shape the afternoon, the evening, and even the way you rest later on. There is a quiet beauty in walking through the day without needing to push so hard. There is a dignity in moving with calm. There is strength in letting your life be guided by trust more than by fear. The world may still move quickly, people may still be demanding, circumstances may still shift, but you do not have to become like the noise around you. You can remain rooted in a different atmosphere. You can keep the softness you began with. You can let the day be real without letting it harden your spirit. That is one of the deepest gifts you can give yourself. So move through this day with trust. Trust that you can handle what comes without harming yourself with fear first. Trust that your breath can bring you back. Trust that peace is still available in the middle of movement. Trust that life can surprise you kindly. Trust that you are not abandoned inside the ordinary hours. Trust that joy, peace, and ease are not left behind in the morning. They can travel with you. They can live in the way you answer, walk, pause, think, and choose. Let trust become your way of carrying the day. Let it hold you where control never could. Now let this day be blessed before it fully unfolds. Let it be touched by kindness before the world speaks too loudly. Let it be held in a softer energy before demands begin to gather. A blessing does not need ta'ad or be dramatic to be powerful. It is simply a loving intention placed over life. It is a quiet yes to peace. It is a gentle wish for good. It is the heart choosing to speak hope into the hours ahead. And that matters because what you bless, you begin to see differently. What you bless, you begin to meet with more care. What you bless, you begin to hold in light instead of fear. So bless this morning. Bless the breath that has carried you here. Bless the body that has stayed with you through every hard day and every new beginning. Bless the heart that is still willing to open. Bless the mind that is learning a softer language. Bless the path ahead, even if you cannot yet see all of it. Bless the moments you understand. and the moments you do not. Bless the things that will ask for your effort and the things that will surprise you with ease. Bless the people you will meet. Bless the words you will speak. Bless the energy you will carry. Bless the life that is meeting you again today. There is something beautiful in beginning the day with reverence instead of reaction. Reverence says, this day matters, this life matters, my energy matters, my inner world matters. When you bless the day, you do not enter it carelessly. You enter it consciously. You say, I want to meet this day with grace. I want to walk through these hours with peace in my heart. I want my presence to carry kindness. I want my life to be touched by ease. A blessing aligns you with what you truly want to live from. It gathers your spirit and turns it toward what is life-giving. Bless yourself too. Bless the version of you that is still healing. Bless the parts of you that are learning to trust. Bless the tired places that need tenderness. Bless the strong places that keep going. Bless your efforts. Bless your growth. Bless your willingness to begin again. Too often people give blessing outward and forget to include themselves. They speak kindness over others, but remain hard toward their own heart. But this morning, include yourself fully. May I move through this day in peace. May I be guided. May I be protected. May I be kind to myself. May I notice joy. May I receive ease. These are simple blessings, but they can change the tone of the whole day. Then bless those around you. Bless the people you love. Bless the people you find difficult. Bless the strangers you may never know. Bless the homes, the streets, the workspaces, the places you pass through. Not because the world is always easy, but because blessing shifts the energy you bring into it. A heart that blesses is not living in constant defense. A heart that blesses is participating in healing. A heart that blesses remembers that life is connected. When you wish peace for others, you deepen peace within yourself. When you speak light over the day, you become more able to walk in that light. This does not mean ignoring pain or pretending the world has no struggles. It means choosing not to feed darkness with more fear than necessary. It means becoming a quiet source of another kind of energy, an energy of calm, an energy of compassion, an energy of trust. That key and of presence matters more than you know. It changes the way you enter rooms. It changes the way you answer tension. It changes the way your own soul experiences the day. Blessing is not escape. It is alignment with what is deepest and truest in you. As you move into the hours ahead, let your blessing be simple enough to remember. May this day unfold with grace. May I meet what comes with peace. May joy find me in small, beautiful ways. May ease flow where I once forced. May love guide my thoughts, my words, and my steps. Let those lines live quietly inside you. Let them rise again if the day gets loud. Let them steady you when the mind forgets. Let them be the soft music underneath the ordinary moments. A blessing repeated gently becomes a way of living. And now, as this morning message comes toward its close, let yourself hear once more the heart of it all. Today is not something you must survive before it starts. Today is something you are allowed to enter with trust. You are allowed to choose joy before you have proof. You are allowed to choose peace before every question is answered. You are allowed to choose ease before the whole path is visible. You are allowed to let this day hold some beauty. You are allowed to believe that life can meet you kindly. You are allowed to begin without fear leading the way. If the mind forgets, come back gently. If the day becomes noisy, come back gently. If old pressure rises, come back gently. You do not need to return with force. You do not need to judge yourself for drifting. Just come back. Come back to the breath. Come back to the words. Come back to the light. Come back to the truth that your spirit knows. Joy is still possible. Peace is still here. Ease is still available. Life is still supporting you, even when you cannot see every way it is happening. Return again and again. That is enough. That is the practice. That is the path. Let this final blessing settle over your heart now. May this day be softer than you expected. May your thoughts be kinder than yesterday. May your body feel supported. May your heart stay open to good. May your steps be guided. May your words carry light. May your spirit remember its own calm. May joy meet you. May peace hold you. May ease move with you. May love be the atmosphere around everything you do. And so this day begins not with pressure, but with presence. Not with fear, but with trust. Not with struggle, but with a softer way. You have given yourself something beautiful this morning. You have given yourself a better beginning. You have remembered that you do not need to carry yesterday into today. You have remembered that your power lives in this present moment. You have remembered that your thoughts shape the feeling of your day, that your heart can open to receive good, that peace can be spoken into the morning with simple, loving words, and that trust can carry you through the hours ahead. This is not a small thing. This is how life begins to change from the inside out. As you go forward now, keep the message simple. Today I choose joy, peace, and ease. Let that be enough. Let I, Teteo, guide your breath when the mind gets busy. Let it soften your body when tension tries to return. Let it steady your heart when the day asks more from you. Let it remind you that your life is not meant to be lived in constant strain. Let it remind you that you can move differently, think differently, and feel differently. You can begin again at any moment. You can return to calm at any moment. You can open to grace at any moment. That is your gift. That is your freedom. Go into this day with a soft heart and a peaceful spirit. Expect small blessings. Expect moments of beauty. Expect support in places you may not have noticed before. Expect your own inner world to become a kinder place to live inside. And if the day is not perfect, let that be all right too. Perfection was never the goal. Presence is the goal. Peace is the practice. Trust is the path. And joy, even in its quietest form, is still a holy way to live. Today is here. Life is here. And you are here, ready to meet it with love.